We are in Psalm 63, so join me there, and we're coming into verse 8. David's in the wilderness. This psalm is unusual to me. It's wonderful because David is worshiping God in the wilderness. And a lot of psalms of David, they don't go here. They don't go where this one goes. And they go to desperate places. They go to despair. They go to fear. They go to lots of things. Now, there's the emotional experience, and then there's the intellectual decision. There's the cognitive dissonance, if you will, between what my emotions are saying to me, or in this case, David, and what my will chooses. And so, for instance, Joshua 1, God says, be strong and of a good courage. Why would he tell that to Joshua? Because Joshua was going to be weak and fearful. So there's the experience of being weak and fearful, anxious. There's the experience of feeling in the dark or in the wilderness or left alone or deserted. That's the feeling. That's the sense of it. But the substance, the core, the reality underneath the feeling, or superseding, really transcending the emotional experience, is that He is strong when I am weak. He is faithful when I am faltering. He is present and will calm me in time when I am fearful. So there's this tension in our lives between our experience and our faith reality that will eventually be our experience. And I think the tension is that when we experience fear, anxiety, weakness, things like that, we feel like we're failing God somehow. And my friend, that's just not necessarily true, okay? When you're so weak that you can't conquer the fear, the anxiety, or you can't find the strength, and that weakness says, well, Lord, I'm waiting on you in my weakness. I'm waiting on your strength. I'm waiting on your comfort. I'm waiting on your, and that's a little bit of the sense of this psalm, is David has come emotionally to a different place in this wilderness, which is wonderful, because a lot of wilderness times he is feeling and experiencing the despair. But in this one, he's worshiping and he's waiting and he's trusting and he's remembering, and he's finding his place in the shadow of the wings of God. And that's verse 7 yesterday. Because thou hast been my help, therefore in the shadow of thy wings will I rejoice. Now today, look at verse 8. My soul followeth hard after thee. Thy right hand upholdeth me. Now the idea of my soul following hard after thee sounds like real intense effort. But really, it is the idea that my soul is attached. Okay, that's what the idea of following hard. Let me just look up this is really, I think, one Hebrew word, which is to be united with, or to be held fast by, or to be clung to. Okay, or overtaken, pressed hard into. So what David he's not saying, I'm trying hard, okay? He's saying my soul is indelibly, inseparably fastened to you. Now, this is why I bring out the point of emotions and experience, our human experience, versus the truthful realities. David's in the wilderness, but he's choosing to worship God in the wilderness. And there are lots of times in the wilderness you don't feel worshipful. You don't feel courageous. You don't feel strong. But that's when you make the cognitive declaration. You're my God. I will seek you. And look at verse 1. I'm thirsting. I'm needy. I'm weak. I'm famished. I long to see your power in this. And then go back to verse 8. My soul is joined, it's united, it's fastened, and thy right hand upholdeth me. So when you're in the wilderness, what upholds you It's not your strength. It's not your, you're gutting it. You're gritting your teeth in faith and you're just going to press it through and just No, God's right hand is upholding you. He's the one sustaining you. And when I think of being in the palm of God's hand, I think of, I can collapse there. I can just, all of my weight, all of my ability, it could just like collapse into his total strength and support. And this was my experience in my own journeys through the wilderness. Some days through the wilderness, you wake up worshipful, happy, joyful, laughing through the day. God gives you a light heart. But there's a lot of days in the wilderness that God, your heart's just heavy. And he is calling you to just walk through the heaviness and not forsake him and not really lose faith or hope in him. But that's where the waiting comes in. That's where knowing that when you don't feel it, when you don't sense it, when you're not experiencing it, your soul is still fixed. It's still fastened. It's still united inseparably. It's bonded to him. This is not a great illustration, but I had a tooth pulled a few years back before COVID, and they were going to put an implant in, and the implant didn't work. The post, it just wouldn't hold, it wouldn't adhere to my bones. It wouldn't stick. It wouldn't meld into the bone. Like when typically an implant, they do the post and the bone grows into it and it just becomes kind of a part of your jaw. And that wouldn't happen with my jaw. My jaw would not grow around that post. So they had to start over. They did it twice, had to start over and then, let the bone fill back in. And then COVID hit and I went a couple years without a tooth there. And then just a couple weeks ago, I went in and got a bridge, and they adhere that middle tooth to the two on either side of it. And it's fixed. It's like adhered. It's bonded so tightly to my jaw now, to those teeth, that it becomes a permanent thing. So when David says, "My soul followeth hard after thee," he's talking about that permanent bonding of your soul to God that is true irrespective of your feelings or your emotions or your momentary experience. And I want to leave you with that today, that it is momentary. The wilderness is momentary, and God's right hand is going to uphold us. So that is enough for today, my friend. Your soul, if you know Jesus, your soul is fixed. It's fastened to him, and he is the one that's going to uphold you. So your strength really is in him. It's not in yourself. So it's okay to be weak. So let him be strong. Happy Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.